I want to see more work about like sex work as like a positive thing. I want to see more Indigenous trans women surviving and not only in books. I'm Arielle Twist. I'm a multidisciplinary artist and a sex educator from George Gordon's First Nation in Saskatchewan, and I'm based out of Halifax, Nova Scotia. I wrote a book called Disintegrate, Dissociate. My book's about grief. It's about like the many kinds of grief that I was processing at the time. It was my first year of writing, so I was still like figuring stuff out. Vacant. I'm not in the world today. I left this cage of a chest open in winter, my body still shining, no vacancy above my abdomen. They always told me that this body is mine, that autonomy is key, break down, undone, I can destroy it freely, so I will. I was writing about like the grief of losing my grandmother. I was writing about the grief of my own body during my transition and the grief of dating. I think as Indigenous and like trans people, we're grieving constantly. I felt like I was trying to work out my shit and I didn't know how to do it. And writing was really cathartic, especially poetry, because I could like write stuff into it that people might not necessarily see. So my poetry is really raw and kind of unfiltered in a way that I don't think I'll ever do again. I think I want us to be forever, because the cultivation of this craft has asked us to bear children we did not want, to crack open our chests for an audience, gazing into the veins of each other's world, wondering how the ecology survives. We're in this time of Indigenous literature and queer Indigenous literature that people are really trying to find out like the specifics of what we're talking about, and sometimes it's just not for them. I think when I wrote this book, I was thinking specifically about like queer and trans Indigenous people and trans Indigenous women that kind of are left out of conversations. There's so few of us within the art world, and we deserve like a chance to like have access to art and access to stability too. I think we're in a moment where like people are really hungry for trans art and people are really hungry for Indigenous art in a way that like it just wasn't accessible to them before, they didn't care about it before. So we're being like lifted up pretty swiftly. I think it gave me access to community that I didn't think existed. I'm still very emerging, but I get to create so many opportunities for other people now. The family that I've created in this art world is one that I hope will do better and be better than what we were given.